This is the Schwinn Traxion Mountain Bike. I've put a full 3 months on it, mostly around town, mixed gravel paths, and a handful of mellow dirt trails. I bought it because the spec sheet looks stacked for the price. Aluminum frame, dual suspension, 24 gears with Shimano trigger shifters, mechanical disc brakes, and 29-inch wheels with double wall rims. Key features on paper sounded great, and the matte gray with neon green accents actually looks sharp in person. Assembly was the usual 80% done deal. I mounted the handlebar, front wheel, pedals, and seat post. From my experience, plan for a tune-up right away. My brakes rubbed out of the box and needed careful centering, and the derailleur limit screws backed out after the first few rides until I dabbed a little thread locker on them. If you're new to bikes, mechanical disc brakes use steel cables, not fluid, so they stretch a bit and need occasional readjustment. Once I dialed everything in, the shifting felt crisp when I wasn't pushing super hard, and the brakes were acceptable for easy riding. Fit-wise, the single 18-inch frame works for my height at 5'10". The riding position is a bit forward, but relaxed enough for longer path rides. I raised the seat post, slid the saddle a hair forward, and rolled the bar to find a neutral wrist angle. The stock vinyl saddle surprised me in a good way, better than I expected, while the resin pedals were slick and flexy, so I swapped to metal platforms with pins for real grip. If you keep just one stock part, keep the double wall rims. They're sturdy and have handled a couple of pothole hits without going out of true. On pavement, the bike is comfortable. Dual suspension takes the buzz out of cracked roads and rough curb cuts. In my opinion, this is where the Traxion makes the most sense. Casual rides, errands, neighborhood loops, and relaxed workouts. The catch is the 2.25-inch knobby tires. They're slow rolling on asphalt. You notice the drag the moment you start pedaling. I'll likely switch to a semi-slick tread for street riding because that alone would make it feel a size lighter. On gravel and easy dirt, the bike hits its sweet spot. The big 29-inch wheels carry momentum and roll over small washboards and ruts. The knobs finally do their job, and the suspension smooths out chatter. The mechanical discs are okay on gentle descents if you keep them adjusted. One point for newer riders: modulation is the feeling of how easily you can control braking force. These brakes don't have the smoothest modulation compared to hydraulics, but they're fine for mellow riding once tuned. Single Track told me a different story. I tried a local green trail with a few roots and small rocks. From my experience, the suspension feels plush at first, then turns into a pogo effect when you start climbing or pedaling on uneven ground. That's pedal bob, energy lost as the rear end compresses and rebounds under pedaling. The frame also flexes laterally when you lean the bike into a corner. It's a simple single pivot setup, and when you add the bike's weight, the feeling on real trails isn't confidence-inspiring. I needed more bite from the brakes on steeper bits, and when I tried shifting under load on a climb, it wasn't smooth. I ended up walking a section I'd normally ride on a basic hardtail. If your goal is to learn mountain biking on proper single track, this isn't the tool I'd pick. Let's talk weight, because you feel it in every part of the ride. At about 49 pounds, acceleration takes effort, stairs are a workout, and hoisting it onto a car rack feels like a mini lifting session. Aluminum frame or not, the total package is heavy. The dual suspension and budget components add up. It's not a deal breaker for path riding, but it matters a lot off-road, where quick moves and repeated climbs are part of the fun. Reliability over 3 months has been decent for casual use. I've needed to recenter the front caliper twice, snug a few bolts on the rear linkage when a squeak popped up, and nudge the rear derailleur barrel adjuster a couple of times. Normal stuff for a budget bike that uses cables. No weird bearing play in the wheels, and the rims have stayed straight. The drivetrain shows a bit of chain stretch, which is typical when you ride through dust and don't clean it often. A light lube after every few rides kept the shifting happier. A couple basics for anyone new. A hardtail has front suspension only and no rear shock. It's lighter and pedals more efficiently. Single Track is a narrow dirt trail with rocks, roots, and quick turns. This bike is sold as a trail machine, but in my opinion, it rides more like a comfort bike dressed up in mountain clothes. If you want to explore actual mountain biking, a shop-level hardtail with hydraulic brakes and an air fork will be safer, lighter, and easier to grow with. If you're sticking to paths and gravel, the Traxion can be the right kind of simple fun. Key features that won me over early were the 29-inch wheels, the dual suspension for comfort, and the Shimano trigger shifters. The trigger setup feels intuitive, thumb to go easier, finger to go harder, and on flat ground, it clicks along nicely. The mechanical discs are serviceable but need patience to keep quiet and centered. The standout part is still the wheel set. Extra wide, double-wall alloy rims that can take a hit. The weak link out of the box is the pedals, and I also think the grips are a bit firm. Softer grips help on longer rides. It's perfect for riders who want a cushy, good-looking bike for bike paths, neighborhood loops, smooth park trails, and flat gravel. If you value comfort over speed and you're not chasing technical terrain, you'll probably smile every time you roll out. It's also a solid fit if you're returning to riding after a long break and want a stable, forgiving feel with a wide gear range to keep hills manageable. I'd recommend this for casual riders who want comfort first, folks who ride 50-50 pavement and easy dirt, and anyone who likes the look and doesn't mind the weight. I wouldn't recommend it for new riders aiming to learn real trail skills or anyone planning weekend single-track sessions. Upgrading it into a trail bike isn't realistic. The standards are older, and the cost of a better fork, brakes, and drivetrain would quickly pass the price of a capable entry hardtail. If you have upgrade money, save it for that hardtail instead. Spend only on comfort and safety here. Pedals with pins, maybe different tires for your main surface, and a basic shop tune. From my experience, the Traxion shines when I keep it in its lane. I've enjoyed slow rolls with friends, gravel paths at the park, and short cardio rides where I don't care about speed. I've also learned its limits. When I hit actual single track, the fun drops fast. That's okay. Not every bike has to do everything. Know what you're buying and where you'll ride. In conclusion, the Schwinn Traxion delivers comfort and looks for casual use, not real mountain biking. It rides best on pavement and smoother unpaved paths, where the suspension turns bumpy surfaces into a relaxed cruise. The weight and component level hold it back on trails. If that aligns with your plans, it can be a pleasant, low-stress companion. If your goal is to progress off-road, consider a lighter hardtail from a bike shop and thank me later. If this video helped, please subscribe to the channel and drop your questions or your own experience in the comments. Thank you for watching.